believe it or not, but we have another CK3 dev diary, only this one wasn't written by the actual CK3 devs, and yet I dare say that this one at the very least can compete with today's dev diary if it isn't much more extreme in its hype amount. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, this is the first thing that brought me back to think about CK3 before the actual dev diary, before the announcement of the upcoming announcement even came out. This one is about a mod that is in the works and a mod that will blow you away, I promise you that much. It is called Let's Get Ready to Rumble, or rather the mod is called Back Me Up, and it is made by Stick. Now, you may know Stick from all of these mods. In my humble opinion, is the mod that shows you the opinion your character has of others. Prisoners of War makes it so that prisoners you take and prisoners others take are actually in their armies, meaning if you defeat that army, you can take these prisoners yourself. Submission to Authority does a massive rework to how authority works. Terms and conditions may apply, has another sort of negotiation phase to contracts. Inherit chance, trick or trade. So many of these mods are all lightweight and they do something amazing in a framework that shouldn't really be possible with how CK3 works. Back Me Up is the best mod on a mechanical point of view and a UI point of view, quite frankly, that I have seen in ages, if not ever. Let's take a look at what it actually is, and then I'm going to show it to you in the game, because trust me, again, you're going to be blown away by this whole thing. Time to dig into the mod we announced last week, Back Me Up. This week, we'll explain a bit more detail how it all works, but please bear in mind that development is ongoing, and most numbers and UI aren't final and are subject to change before release. The AI from Back Me Up came from one proper variant's warfare crackpot theory, which itself was inspired by what we knew at the time about Victoria 3's diplomatic play from its pre-release dev diaries. So the idea for it has been around for nearly a year and a half, and it's been brewing for a while. This video, if you haven't seen it, basically had me discuss the idea of planning campaigns rather than just declaring a war and then you just duke it out. In this case, you would basically have this phase where you declare a campaign, then you can invite people, the other side can invite people, and so on. I said, and I vividly remember this, I said back in the day, this is not something for modders, and I don't think this is ever coming to CK3. I don't think the devs are gonna do this. This is impossible. I was wrong. I was very, very wrong. Instead of war breaking out immediately, using the claim CB or pressing demands of claimant factions sets in motion a pressed claim targeting the claim target for the claim title. A pressed claim lasts for about a year until eventually war does break out and has 4 distinct phases: the contention phase, the rallying phase, the bargaining phase, and the declaration phase. While the pressed claim is ongoing, a few things will be restricted. The claim target can't create or hand out titles that are in the jure hierarchy of the claim title. The claim target can't take aggressive actions against the vassals in the de jure hierarchy of the claim title, like revoking titles, vassals, imprisonment, etc. No claim CB can be used, no claim infection be created that would target the claim title. The reasons for those restrictions should become clear further on. As you already have a challenge, if, you know, for example, I declare a claim war and then you give away all your titles, you basically ruin your nation, that's obviously nonsense, right? So that is barred for that time being. Now, the first phase after declaring it is the contention phase. When the pressed claim starts, there are only 2 contenders, whoever just pressed their claim, and the claim target themselves, who will defend their title. In the days that follow, other claimants to the claim title, both landed and unlanded, will be notified and given the choice to press their own claim. So after a couple of weeks, there could be as many contenders as there are claimants. Right, so we got the claimants right here. These guys are actually pushing their claims, it looks like. This guy here isn't pushing it. This guy is just looking at it. He's a stakeholder, right? So we got the contender number that is now smaller than claimants. Yes, the strongest contender is bugged right now. Obviously, it's not Berengar. Come on, get out of here. Notice that King Louis II of Italy doesn't press his claim, but he's still staying involved as a supporter, and a powerful one. A lot of other claimants dropped out, but being unlanded, they can't remain as supporters, so they just leave this play. The AI logic for whether claimants will contend for the throne is derived from the elective logic applied to the claim target. Negative score will mean they consider the claim target to not be legitimate heir to the throne, and if they want the title themselves, then they will choose to be a contender. He's a foreigner, scholar, we all know these, this is the elective logic right here. He's evil and I dislike him. Rallying phase. Once contenders have declared their intentions, their would-be supporters are notified of what's going on and given the opportunity to support the contender that reaches out to them. In chronological order, contenders backed by a claimant faction reach out to the faction members. The claim target reaches out to their allies for a defensive support. Other contenders reach out to their allies for an offensive support. The jure vassals of the claim title are notified and can choose to support whoever they like. Landed friends and rivals of all contenders are notified and can choose sides. Neighbors of the claim target might get called in if the claim target owns land that is theirs de jure, and that would follow the claim title, which can be the case if it's the claim target's primary title. So you basically have a hierarchy here of who gets notified and when they get to decide to pitch their support one way or another. I'm going to be honest with you, I think this is the thing where I see the biggest problems. this is just an issue at the end of the day of balancing and whatnot, but if this expands too much, then it's basically very, very intense, even if you just do a tiny claim sort of thing. But that is just a balancing question. Whether, you know, for example, like right here, 8 contenders commit to it, or whether it's just 2 or whatever. These are the questions that will come up in balancing, in sort of working out what the boldness of the AI should look like, etc. But fundamentally, you have this phase where it works through, okay, who wants to support whom, and what do we do about it? As far as AI logic goes, here again the base logic is the elective logic. Does the supporter consider a contender to be more legitimate than others? Alliances and relationships already factor in that logic, so allies, friends and family of contenders should naturally side with them more often than not. But supporters will also have a base reluctance to get involved, depending on their boldness, and might also consider this an opportunity to get something in exchange for their support, if they're greedy enough. For vassals of the claimed target, loyalty will play a role, like it already does in Loyal to a Fault and Submission to Authority, 2 other mods that we just looked at earlier. If no contender passes that bar, then a supporter might choose to remain a passive observer for the time being. In the example below, we can see why King Louis of Italy didn't contend for the throne himself. Despite the fact that he doesn't like King Charles II much, his opinion of him as the King of France wasn't too bad. But that doesn't mean he will support his claim without getting something in return. You can see it right here, wants something for his trouble. There it is. Look at that. By the time the rallying phase ends, contenders will already have rallied some support to their cause. Their supporters' military strength is added to their own and compared to other contenders' strength to output a confidence score, in which a contender's boldness might also cause them to over or underestimate their strength. So I believe this shows how much they... Yeah, this is like the one thing of the AI where I'm like, this needs to be clearer. I think this shows how much they think they have strength rather than their true strength. In the final version, confidence won't be a percentage, but rather labels like cocky, confident, uncertain, fearful. Great stuff. I love that stuff, okay? Bargaining phase. And that's where the fun begins, and where I'll leave you on a cliffhanger. During the bargaining phase, contenders can try to sway supporters to their cause by bargaining for their support. Some might want a council position, others might desire a title they have a claim on, others yet might prefer some gold for their trouble. Lots of things to talk about here, but we'll go into more detail about the bargaining phase in the next dev diary, he said. And then I opened the game and said, why don't we take a look at what is currently available by checking it out in the game. So we just loaded in, we are Charles II, the Bold of West Francia, and we have a claim on Lotharingia. Historically speaking, after Lothair II died, we and our brother Ludwig II, the German, immediately marched into Lotharingia because we knew that Louis II, our nephew, was busy down in Italy, so we marched in and we split it amongst us. Now in this, what I'm gonna do is, Lothair is still alive and I'm gonna declare a claimant war right here. This war gets immediately invalidated, you're gonna see this in a second. Boom, there it is, obviously because the war doesn't actually start, instead, this down here starts. I'm blown away just by how well this implementation in the UI is actually working here. You can see this is them, this is me, and then you got the other claimant. The other claimant in this case is King Ludwig II, the German, and Ludwig says, wait a minute. I think I should actually be a contender, okay? I think I should participate. So, we now have 3 contenders right here. This is also the same number as claimants because we're all 3 very powerful kings, we're carlings, we infight, that's what we do, right? So this is the setup in the contention phase right here. Currently, the strongest one is Lothair II, who, yeah, is quite powerful, but none of us yet have any supporters. So, in the upcoming rallying phase, and you're gonna see this in a second, in the rallying phase, all of a sudden supporters pledge themselves. This guy, Boudwin, for example, pledges him to us. While on the other hand, if we take a look at the stakeholders, you can see Antwerpen hasn't pledged to anybody, René has pledged himself to Luxembourg, and he, Aachen, has pledged himself to Ludwig II. This goes on and on as more people get notified and make decisions. You can see this right here. Many here are undecided, and I'm so excited to click that button as soon as we enter the phase. As soon as we enter the bargaining phase... Yeah, listen. Stop talking to me. As soon as we enter the bargaining phase, and I think this is slightly bugged, but... My god, look at this. We can offer a council position. Now, he doesn't want any. We can offer a title. We can make this dude the Duke of Brabant. If we take over this realm and he's now a part in it, he becomes the Duke. Now, obviously, I can't currently do that. Again, it just doesn't select it. It's bugged. Don't sweat it. Who cares? It's a work in progress mod. The fact that I can show you this anyway is insane to begin with. This guy here, for example, would also like to be a chancellor. This is insane, okay? You can add stuff like hooks, you can give your own land, you could even promise monetary payments. You can do so much with this. And the AI can be so clear in what it prefers and what it doesn't prefer based on its actual character. I am blown away. I hope so are you. Now what happens once this is all over, and this is again where the big balancing act comes in, right? We will need to balance out basically the fact that sometimes there might be a million contenders. And currently, the boldness that they have is still a bit too high. That is what Stick told me anyway. That is all going to be rebalanced. We're looking at a situation where eventually, right, it will be quite obvious to tell, okay, these people will just all drop out, and this is it. But as it stands right now, the bargaining phase, of course, proceeds. We see this right here, right? We're not promising anything anybody, because as you can see right here, we have the biggest supporter base anyway. So we just let this run out into the declaration phase, and all of a sudden, oh, and he declared, this is not fully set up, don't worry about it, but he declared his own game of pressing his claim, I guess, on Bavaria. Holy moly, okay. Wow, yeah, we're just an onlooker in this one. It technically could be invited. But yeah, as you can see, now that our actual play here has ended, we now declare the war. Yeah, you know, why don't you just leave me? We now declare the war. We're looking at this. This is the war. He now is in a war against us and the King of Germany. If we win, we still need to deal with Germany. It's basically the situation between William, Harald Hardrade, and Harold Godwinson that is at the start of the game. I cannot believe how detailed, how good this is. And this is all, and I want to repeat this, work in progress. Stick has shown that he's a master of mechanical modding. And this is just yet another masterpiece right here. Let me know what you think about this concept in the comments. Whether you would find this interesting. Obviously, again, there are issues of escalation if it's not balanced right. But, oh my god, isn't this more interesting than clicking the button, declare war, boom, in you go? Here the characters of these people will actually come through as they are being offered things, as they offer things, and so on and so forth. I love this. Let me know what you think. And this was a great modding DD, I would say. I will see you later, alligator.